This is Judge Joe Brown, and you're watching We All Be News TV, the
News-free Dixie.
news-free Dixie for the 21st century.
Dick, every now and then, Dick would run across the country, and when he did, he'd call people. In fact, Dick called the boxer,
Muhammad Ali.
Ali, and he called myself, and he called and what is wrong with me? There's Martin King, and then his sidekick, the guy that he
Ralph Abernathy.
Yeah, and Abernathy, and Abernathy, and somebody else. He had called and asked them to meet him in Cleveland, and because we had a new mayor, first mayor.
Carl Stokes.
Carl
Stokes was his name. Was his name Carl Stokes?
What'd you say is his name?
Carl Stokes.
Yeah, that's it. Stokes. And so we met in his office, and there was the morning he said, and then all of us were there, and Dick was telling us that he wanted us to run with him, because he would run from each place. He'd run about 20 miles, and then we would be driven back to the hotel that we had left that morning, and so we met and we met in the mayor's office, and then we left there and started running. We didn't know how far Dick ran, but he told us finally, and so we would talk with the newsman, and because he wanted to get the message out, and then out we started running, and when we did, we got so far out that the newsman didn't need to be with us. They had all the questions answered that they wanted to, and they had a car that they were in, and they followed us. I don't know, about a quarter of a mile, and then they turned around and left because they had everything they needed. And Dick Dick was running with us, and Ali wanted to stop running, and he asked Dick, all the newsmen are gone now, and Dick didn't say anything. He just kept running, and we kept running, and finally Ali I don't know why I can't think of King's sidekick.
Abernathy. Abernathy. Yeah.
Abernathy's a good man, and I don't hear enough of him. And people forgot that he existed after he wrote that book.
Right.
It's because, I mean, Abernathy was, he needed Martin, and Martin needed him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just to think that they parted company, and but anyway, that's another story.
Mm-hmm.
So we went out so far then, and as I said, quit running, and Ali, and the car that was picking us up whenever we needed to picked him up and took him on back to the hotel. Mm-hmm. And then I tried to stay with it because it was GREgory, and Dick was a friend, and I do everything I can for friends. Mm-hmm. And so as a result of it, but that wasn't true with the boxer. He just went on back, had the car to take him back. The car would run by us about every 15 minutes or so. Right? And but we were tiring out. I was, the others were too. And they would just catch the car as they came by and leave. Well, I tried to stay with Dick as long as I could. Well, but then I gave out too. And then when the car came, I felt badly that I had left Dick. So I asked the car to take me on to catch up with Dick because I wanted to run with him some more. And, well, I wasn't a great runner. Dick was. And so the car picked me up, and we came and we passed Dick right there. And boy, when you saw Dick was moving at a speed that you would never move at. You couldn't move at, right? Mm-hmm. But he could. And so I told the driver, that's all right. That's all right. Don't stop. Wow. Take me back to the hotel as well. Right? So I ended up back at the hotel, and instead of trying to catch up with Dick, Dick ran what we found out later was about 20 miles. He ran 20 miles, and then he came back to the hotel too, right? The boxer had left. Ali had left, and I was still there, but I didn't stay there long because but we all had food that would give us a little more energy. Right. And then it was all over, really. But Abernathy left immediately. He had left immediately. He was made to run. And but he wanted to help Dick as much as he could, and he did. And he did, but he just didn't go very far. Well, anyway, now that's the overall story. Now, give me any questions you want to ask.
Yeah, you said, I remember you told me that you and Dick used to run at the seminary.
What's that?
You used to run with Dick at the seminary, like where you was at. I guess you was teaching at the seminary. You used to run with him on a regular basis.
No, not on a regular basis, but every now and then he would, because I was trying to run each morning with a number of the guys at the seminary.
Okay.
And so I asked Dick to run with us, and so Dick every now and then would come by and run with us, but it wasn't. We didn't go daily or anything.
Okay. So what can you recall?
Not with Dick. Dick was too busy to to be running with us daily.
Yeah, I mean, I keep on reflecting upon Dick Gregory, man. When I think about him and researching his history, I mean, Hollywood could not invent a person like him. It would be hard to invent somebody like him.
It would be hard to do what?
To invent somebody like him, to invent a Dick Gregory. You couldn't even think of that a person like this actually exists.
He's a person all by himself. I
right.
mean, and he was until the day he died. When when we first met him, when the group, when all the guys with Martin met him, was it was in Birmingham.
Okay.
I think it was in Alabama at least, and I think it was in Birmingham. And he and I just hit it off right away, and he drank a fifth of liquor every day. And I didn't drink at all. It's just not my thing, right? But we were friends, and we just made friendships right quick, and so when after a while, knowing Martin, he quit drinking at all.
So Dr. King used to drink?
No, Dr. King did not drink.
But Dick Gregory.
Dick Gregory.
Okay.
Stopped drinking after a while.
Okay.
Right, because and then he became really a healthy fellow. In fact, it brought others in. If you check the record afterwards, you'll find out that Dick made a major business out of health. Have you any? I don't have any notes like that. I mean, I don't have any information.
Oh yeah, I know about his Bahamian diet and slim.
Yeah, that's it.
Slim,
that's
yeah,
the stuff. Yeah, that's the stuff. Yeah. But he came to that after meeting with Martin.
Wow. I know at one point he had talked about how he weighed 350 pounds and was drinking like a fifth of scotch a day and smoking 4 packs of cigarettes.
When we first met him, he was heavy.
Okay.
And he drank a lot. But he after meeting Martin and being with the guys in the movement, he quit all of that. Because none of us drank or any of that.
Not even smoke? Not even smoking?
No. I don't remember any of the guys in our group smoking.
Okay. So, like, I know Dick would tell me that he was a soldier for a cause bigger than himself, that he was a soldier.
He was a soldier for what?
For a cause bigger than himself. He was a frontline soldier for the movement. He prided himself on being a soldier for justice.
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt. He decided to become. And he quit all of the other stuff. He quit all of the negatives and became he not only he didn't work for SCLC, Martin's organization, but he worked all over he worked with everybody who was fighting for justice.
Mm. Yeah, because like what was amazing was when I found out that that Dick Gregory was the inspiration for Freedom Summer '64 because of what he did in Greenwood, Mississippi in the fall of '63 when the government cut out welfare support for the black folks in Greenwood who registered to vote. He brought in all those planes with food on it, tons of food.
Yeah. In fact, he did stuff like that all the time. That's not the only case of it. I just don't know all of the stuff. But Dick went out to help everybody that was trying their best to break segregation.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't care who they were as long as they were solid people and that they had a following, so that there was a chance to make something happen. And he did, time after time, with persons here and persons there.
What was it about Dick Gregory, his personality? What was it about him that made you like him right away? That y'all hit it off right away?
Oh, he just, in the first place, everybody who met Dick liked him.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't necessarily like everybody he met. But he wasn't up. He didn't dislike him either. I mean, it's hard to talk about stuff like that because as you write it, it makes quite a difference.
Right.
But like when you're asking questions now as a journalist, I used to be a journalist.
That's right.
So I know that the difficulties of doing that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can mess up and not intend to.
Right. Yeah, I try to keep people I try to let people speak for themselves and not try to edit their words. Just let people speak for themselves. And I think that Dick, like you are a great storyteller, and Dick was a great storyteller, a master storyteller. He told a lot of parables and stuff like that. But like my thing is like once again is like I always tell people that Black history is better than Hollywood fiction. It's better than science fiction.
That's a good way of saying it too, Doc.
Yeah, because
Hollywood fiction is no good at all.
Oh no, it's not.
Especially during those years.
Yeah, because I keep on thinking about the movie Mississippi Burning that came out in 1988. They had you thinking that the FBI was the good guys, but it was Dick Gregory and people like you. Dick Gregory actually put up the reward money to find the bodies of Swerner, Cheney, and Goodman. Yeah. He actually broke that case.
Yeah, in fact, you see, the federal government really were the ones that allowed it to see. We would have been in deep trouble if it had been all Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
But when the feds got into it, then the local boys didn't mess with us.
Mm-hmm.
About that time, I remember when they found the bodies.
Mm-hmm.
Leaving Tennessee and going to whatever the name of that town is.
Well, Philadelphia or Meridian.
Yeah, one of those.
Mm-hmm.
I went there that night, and it's just and you knew that you knew better than to just run around down there at night, because they had these big cars that and we had in fact Snick had big cars too. Mm-hmm. Had to have. I mean, some people had said well, why does Snick have all those big fast cars? Because they had to stay alive.
Mm.
Those guys, the white boys, was always trying to run you down.
Mm.
It's not in. It's that was all the time.
Yes, sir.
That wasn't just that one case or one situation. It was all the time.
Yeah, because when they were trying to look for those guys, they kept on finding bodies of other black men. From what I read, that when they were trying to look for when they were trying to find what happened out, when they were trying to search for the bodies or search for Swerner, Cheney, and Goodman, they kept on finding other bodies of black men who were killed.
That's exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
Is it and in the usually people were thrown off of bridges and so forth.
Mm-hmm. You know what? Actually, this as well. I mean, I just think it's like with GREgory, like I said, he was such a rare human being, and I think God only made one. He won't make another like him. And I keep on thinking about his career. I mean, he had so many hits. He had lived so many lifetimes in one life. It's like it's just incredible. Like, you know, I looked at him like a holy man. I mean, like, you know, even though he cursed a lot and all this stuff, and he still to me like some type of holy man, because what he was doing, he was pursuing something that was very pure in spirit and heart.
Oh, in fact, he was. He quit all the negatives.
Mm-hmm.
He was doing more and more of the goodness. Dick just is quite a guy. Was there, as I also told you, my wife and his wife were friends, and when she went to jail here in Atlanta, the wife went in every day and spent time with her. I don't mean 15 minutes. I mean spent real time with her.
Wow. Yeah, Lillian, I gotta give my shout outs and respect to Sister Lillian GREgory, because that's the reason why I was able to connect with GREgory over the years. I had to go through her, and she had such a humble spirit, and I don't even know all the things she had to sacrifice.
That's precisely right. Mm-hmm. She was a humble person. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, did you know the apartment they lived in downtown Chicago?
I knew they lived in Chicago, but I'm not familiar with their living arrangements. But go ahead, I'm listening, sir.
Yeah, no, I was just mentioning that because I wanted you to know that they did. I know where it is, but I don't know. I can't street and all that sort of. Where I just tell you.
Yeah, I know. Also, like just talking to Baba GREgory, like people say, well, he cursed a lot. He's angry, but to me, he had to speak to a frustration of like you made all these sacrifices, you did all these things, and our people are not really aware of our history like we should be. That's frustrating. And number two, it's like a lot of things have not changed, and I just want to get the perspective of a veteran like you, who have done so many things for the people, who have made untold number of sacrifices, you and your wife and your family. How does it feel right now to be alive and see all these things going on in our country in particular?
Well, what hurts me is to see it coming back because of this idiot that we got for I don't want to say idiot.
You just said it.
But this person we have for a president.
Mm-hmm.
He's brought back and placed in the White House as one of his close people, an outright racist
mm-hmm.
who has connections with racists, right? Now, what's his name?
Steve Bannon, you talking about?
Yeah, Steve what?
Bannon.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah. Now, that means we're starting all over again.
So are we?
We thought we were past all of that. With this man as president, we are not past that. He needed that to get elected. That's how he got. That's how he got elected. He had all of these people like Bannon, and then the payoff was that they became people with him in the White House, or in his office at least.
Right. So you feel like is Donald Trump? Does he remind you of George Wallace at all? If George Wallace would have got elected back in the '60s, would he be like Donald Trump?
No. Well, if he had got elected, they were completely different people, though.
Okay.
Not completely different, but I mean they're different people. They're different people.
Okay.
In fact, later I knew the man you're talking about.
George Wallace.
George Wallace. Later, I knew George Wallace and got to ask him questions and so forth. He was a different person. After he was shot and so forth, and a black guy took care of him. Not just because he was shot, but because he was shot, and there was a black guy that who took care of him, and it changed him. The whole thing changed him, really. But he never, Wallace never was as bad as we thought he was.
Okay.
Because when he'd run for governor before, remember?
Yes, sir.
And then after he was shot, he had time to think about things. Is that and he had more time. He wasn't a guy that we knew as governor. Remember, his wife became governor, and then he became governor. You have to check it out, though.
Yeah, I know one time that the mayor of Tuskegee, a black man, was his in-law at one time, if I'm not mistaken.
Was what?
Was his in-law, the former mayor of Tuskegee, Alabama, was an in-law of his. He's a black man.
No, I don't know about that. I never heard that before.
Yeah, Dick told me about it and I researched it. I said, okay, I didn't know he had an in-law. I mean, I think he was married to George Wallace's niece, the former mayor of Tuskegee, Alabama. But my thing with George Wallace...
I know who you mean.
Yeah, okay. My thing with George Wallace is he was just a politician who, he saw where everything was going, so he went that way. Because first my understanding was he was trying to run on a coalition ticket, like he wanted to help the poor whites as well as black folks of Alabama.
Oh, in fact, there is no doubt about both of them being persons that wanted to help poor people.
Right.
All right. However, the racist, just like this guy that's in there now, that was just put out of the White House. That was his thing too, and but every now and then there's a guy like that has a following.
And I know I tell people now that President Barack Obama, he exposed that these folks still existed. but Donald Trump has legitimized these people, gave them a platform.
Pardon me, I didn't hear you.
I was saying that Barack Obama exposed these white nationalists when he was president. They came out the woodworks, but Donald Trump has legitimized them by giving them a platform. He gave them a platform.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's where that's our problem.
Mm-hmm.
That it's they're trying to make it run in circles.
Mm.
And when it was that the people of this nation put this guy out of the White House by telling our president, this guy is bad news.
And I want to ask you this because, it's like we're going to another chapter of the Civil War in this country right now. We never really healed from the Civil War, and we're still fighting the Civil War as we speak in different ways. But I just want to ask you about your dear friend, Ambassador AndREw YoUNg, and I had seen him on Meet the Press a couple weeks ago, and he talked about, it'll be too expensive to remove the Confederate memorials because people want to remove these monuments across the country. But he said it'll be too counterproductive to remove these things. And also he said he empathized and sympathized with the white nationalists and the Klans people, but he was dismissive of the black activists.
They are such fools. They don't understand that they're being used in the process.
Mm-hmm.
See. Now watch when you talk to Andy.
Okay.
Andy is the most thoughtful person about issues like this.
Yes, sir.
That we have around. He just doesn't do the normal run of things. But he takes everything into consideration.
Yes, sir.
Andy is brighter than most all of the guys, and most insightful. But now you got to think when you deal with him that you're dealing with a guy that was in the UN, a guy that was a governor. Pardon, not
mayor. Yeah.
Ran for mayor, but was a mayor. That's done all sorts of things, right? He's and he lived in New Orleans, and he and not too far from the white guys that you wouldn't like. But he also had a father that was had lived in the South all his life, and furthermore was a dentist. Isn't that what it was? A dentist. And he, in other words, he was a well-educated man. And he had a way of thinking, and he had told he had told his son that and in fact, Andy has the very line he uses, right? That his father told him to think things through, and deal with people as best you can. And that's not the way to say it. Is that to realize who they are and what their problems are too, as well as what we are and what our problems are.
Yes, sir.
And how we're used against each other.
Yes, sir. I saw the interview, and also, I mean, my thing it will bother me. I mean, I got a lot of respect for Ambassador Young, and he has an impressive resume. But like, it bothered me that he could show so much compassion and empathy for the white nationalists and the supremacists and all this stuff. But when it came to the black activists, he called them militants. They're not really militant; they're cowards. He was very dismissive of the black activists, which I thought was disappointing.
And it, just when you don't quote what other people say about Andy, quote about Andy says about Andy.
Right.
All right, and about all the racists around him, and he's one of the guys that actually lived in it, right? And Andy is just more insightful than most people about him, more insightful and understanding about the whole problem of the South.
Okay, well, I look forward to try to reach out to him and interview him and get his point of view.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Take the stuff you do know and or you have heard, and use them as questions when you deal with Andy.
Yes, sir.
Andy is just bright and insightful. If you'd done as many things as he would have done, you would have more knowledge than most people would have anyway.
Yeah, but
you see what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. But that speaks to the frustration of y'all, generation. Y'all have did so many amazing things, but our people perish because of lack of knowledge. That's not taught in the schools, like AndREw Young, his accomplishments, and GREgory or Reverend C.T. Vivian. We don't know y'all accomplishments. We don't even know ourselves. Right. That's a problem.
But and they don't know the same things we know. It's not just the accomplishments; it just doesn't know the things we know.
Right. That's
and Andy is so right when he talks about poor white boys are used in this whole process, and they're poor and they don't have much education,
right?
And just so that all of us get a right story, right? So that what seems to be right can be wrong, and what seems to be wrong can be right.
Yes. Yes, sir.
But Andy is extremely well, man. If you had done all the things Andy would do, you would be smart too.
Yeah, I hear you. So I'm definitely trying to reach out to him because like I said, I have respect for what he has done in the past, and I know he's working on some interesting things right now for the betterment of the future. But I just think that a lot of people are dismissive of him because of what they saw in that little clip. And that one clip on Meet the Press does not represent like 80 plus years of living life and serving the community.
Yeah, it's and that's it. And remember, the average journalist is just trying to use stuff for the today and sound like that he is deeply into the South, right? And he's not, and most of them aren't.
And I also want to ask before we go, I just appreciate you being so patient with me, like the Hurricane Harvey situation and the backlash of Joel Osteen refusing to open his church at the time that made the media rounds. What's your thoughts? I know you said some interesting things about Joel Osteen that I had to think about.
Poor fella. Is that he was if you didn't go to the church every day, you wouldn't think about it either. It's that, or it's not likely, but as soon as somebody told him, he opened the church right away. and not only that, if you got 18,000 folk that come to your place every week, all right?
Mm-hmm.
They fill that place every week, and you're traveling all over the nation, and people want to hear you preach, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're not thinking about nothing but how do I make this whole thing work?
Mm-hmm.
He's thinking about his thing because he has to. But when you remind him that, hey, it would be a good idea if, then he pays attention to that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he can do you a lot of good. There was another guy like him that was in the South. In fact, I remember when we a group of us ministers, led by Kelly Miller Smith, because he was the minister for all of us at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and we went in and talked to him. He was quite a different guy than what either whites or blacks were thinking about him.
Mm-hmm.
See, it's just too bad that all journalists, I mean, not just you, right?
Mm-hmm.
But can't really talk to guys like that, and because know that they too have to worry about what they say,
Right.
because they can't be. In fact, but when we talked to I can't think of what this guy's name was, but when we think of him, the room was divided. When we went in and talked to him, he didn't even know the room was divided for black and white.
Mm.
And when we told him, he immediately dropped the whole thing. So that there wasn't any segregation in his organization anymore.
Wow.
See, he comes into a town, and the town is racist, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they are the ones that divided.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't dividing it. When he found out about it, he made them stop it.
Hmm. Wow. So he was he had the moral authority. He was a moral leader.
Yeah. The is that things are often better than you think, but they are better in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, it's all very interesting stuff. And from a journalist, see, I talk with you so because I mean you're a journalist,
That's
and I understand what you do and some of the kinds of problems that you see too, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And that makes a difference. But the more anybody knows about anything, makes them wiser.
Well, you hope so. And I just want to ask you, Joel Osteen.
Yeah, Doc, you hope so.
Yeah, I hope so. But what Joel Osteen was interesting. I don't go to church, but I like listening to him because I don't see him as a religious leader, but more so as a motivational speaker. But it's also his lifestyle, I think, that people are very critical of, because you was a disciple of King. You follow King, and Dr. King, I believe, thought you. I heard that they said that you was his favorite minister, and he loved to hear you preach. And my thing is like, I look at the prosperity preaching aspect of Joel Osteen and other ministers like him, and yet your flock is poor. They struggling. They can't pay their bills. They don't have a place to stay. They check.
When you got 18,000, you got 18,000. You got all kinds of people.
Right.
You got people that can pay your bill too.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
You got, and they have problems too. I wish there was some way we could study, just take 100 and 200 guys that go regularly and see what they do. But they keep that whole place going. In fact, can you imagine having 18,000 members?
No, as an organization, I can't. Yeah,
that's exactly right. And it's not just that, is that you've got people listening to you by the thousands. It's not even the ones that sit down to listen. I mean, we sit down at the I listen to him. Not all the time, but I listen to him a good deal of the time. I didn't listen to him yesterday or a couple of days ago.
Right.
But I do listen to him, and if I'm not doing anything, I listen to him too, right? And because and when you realize that he took over from his father, and when you realize everything that he has not been through but done, you're not dealing with the average minister, white or black. You're dealing with somebody quite different. Well, and remember, there was another one of these guys that had a huge following like that. I can't think of his name now, but these guys know stuff, and the whole towns listen to them, and the whole towns of business people listen to them. I mean, it makes a difference, Doc.
Yeah, but also, like, he is a son. He's a famous minister who was the son of a famous minister. But Dr. King was a famous minister who was the son of a famous minister.
That's exactly right.
But he took a different route, though. He took, like, a vow of poverty. I mean, to me, it was different. He spoke to more, the poor people campaign was his thing before they killed him, right? But I'm saying, like, he took a different path. He could be a mega preacher. Dr. King could have been more successful than anybody when it came to mega church preaching.
And he can be shot while he's standing up there by that.
That's true.
Thing too, right?
That's true. That's true.
You can't ever tell if these guys that is followers of the man that our president has already given a following.
Right.
All right. If we can't ever tell what that may become either.
That's true. I just like, like I said, you're right. Anything can happen to anyone at any time. But I just look at the lifestyle. I mean, I think that Donald Trump is a mirror to America. He reflects the values of the country right now. That's who they got. And you get the leadership that you deserve.
Without doubt. Without doubt. We had put it in one place. Now they're trying to bring it back.
Exactly.
And we'll have to do this all over again in one way or the other. But we don't have a Martin to do it, to lead us into it.
So this time, I mean, we got a Joel Osteen, though, right? But he's a reflection of society, too, with the opulence of his lifestyle.
Yeah, that's what I say. But he's white, though. We need a black guy that's also there.
But can Dr. King come from this type of society, from this environment right now? Can we produce a Dr. King?
Well, I don't think I think if we could, we would. And if we would, we could.
Right.
If you see what I mean, I think it would already have happened.
Is it that we don't really need a Dr. King? We just need to be leaders ourselves.
Oh no, we just need a what?
We don't really need a leader. We need to be leaders. Like we all should find a way to lead.
What was the last part of that?
That we don't really need a Dr. King or a Messiah-like figure to save us. We need to learn how to save ourselves and be leaders and be servants.
And be servants?
Yeah, to humanity. I'm saying, like, I look at GREgory.
Oh.
He walked away from wealth and fame. I mean, he could have been larger. He could have been a billionaire by the time he died if he wanted to. But he gave all that up for a cause that was greater than himself, that would benefit the whole, not the few.
Well, in fact, that's see, when we deal with this stuff, we're dealing with half truths all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean? I do, and you do, and
right.
And this is why we have to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
As journalists, always have to watch it, the half truths.
Right.
It's just really okay. But call anytime you feel like it, Doc.
All right, Reverend C.G. Vivian. Thank you so much, man. God bless you. Thank you for doing what you're doing.
All right.
You have a great weekend. All right.
All right. See ya.
Yes, sir.